Good morning, I'm Erica Moke. We are breaking into programming because of a large 4-alarm apartment fire in Squirrel Hill. This apartment building sits on Forward Avenue. We want to go out live to our Ross Gadati. He has been on scene all morning of this fire. Ross, I was listening to an interview. You were talking to a witness, a man who lives there. He said a portion of the roof has collapsed.
That is correct. A large portion of the roof and part of the front of the building is also collapsed. It was a 2-alarm fire, quickly became a 3-alarm fire. It is now a 4-alarm fire, as you mentioned. Part of the facade went backwards and not forwards, thankfully, based on the fact that there were firefighters down below, and that's when you heard the diesel blast from the engines to get everybody out of there. And since then, they have aerial trucks basically putting as much water on this fire as they can. Residents are all over the place, including my friend here. This is Matthew Stock. Matthew, you were in there this morning.
Yep.
You said that you were on the first floor and then you smelled something.
That is correct, yeah. There was a lot of smoke coming down. Like I said, I thought that someone burned their breakfast or something, so I opened my window to let the smoke out. Next thing I know, there's firefighters going up the stairs. They're banging on the doors, letting everyone know they got to get out. So I come out, and here I am with all of this going on.
What were your initial impressions when you came out here and saw all of this?
Well, at first they seemed to have it contained to just that area right there, you see. And then it started to spread. We saw more black smoke coming up, and then, without warning, we just have these sudden flares of fire and the roof collapses in, which is pretty dramatic, as you can imagine.
As a matter of fact, I think that's exactly what just happened on this section of the building while we were talking.
Yep.
Now, as we were speaking before, you're not holding out a lot of hope as for what you got on the first floor at this point.
Well, at this point, I am not a trained fire professional, so obviously I can't make a big judgment call on that. I've got my fingers crossed, obviously, but, you know, what will be, will be.
Certainly is the case. Matthew Stock, thank you for talking to us in a very difficult time. I wish you the absolute best, as I do the rest of the residents here. That was Matthew Stark. He lives on the first floor. The firefight continues. You did hear a rumble. I was talking to Mr. Stark. That was part of the roof collapsing, and you could see the smoke just fly up soon thereafter. Firefighters right now are in what we consider a defensive mode, as I was just explained to by a firefighter early. It's just putting as much water on this fire as they can to contain it. It is not obviously under control. They're trying to make sure they don't have a problem here on the very end of the building. It is starting to basically display the symptoms of significant fire underneath that roof. So there is a likely chance that that's probably going to be going up relatively soon as well. As for the cause of this fire, it's believed to maybe have started in a kitchen in the back of the top on the third floor. They're not sure. As of right now, firefighters, and according to Kara Cruz, of course, Department of Public Safety in Pittsburgh, everybody is out of the building, is believed to be safe. As for how many people are out of the building right now, I think it's about 30. But that's not a hard number at this point, because we understand some of these apartments are not occupied. But again, no one reported injured at this juncture. We'll have more for you on this fire coming up on KDKA-TV News at noon. Please join us then. Erica?
All right, Ross, we appreciate it. Yeah, you have been watching video from different perspectives of that fire that we're following for you now. This is on Forward Avenue in Squirrel Hill. Want to go now to our John Shumway. And John, we have gotten some videos. We've gotten pictures. We can see it from tower cam. You can see just how far away this smoke, it's billowing up into the air. People from miles away are able to see it. So how is this impacting traffic right now?
Well, you know, one of the first things that comes to mind is the Parkway, which is right there. Let me give you an idea of exactly where this is located. This is Forward Avenue. This is the Parkway. That's the Squirrel Hill Tunnel. And as you come up Forward Avenue, go underneath the Parkway, we're talking about 3 buildings to the right, and then you get to the building where the fire is actually taking place. And it have basically encompassed this whole area as far as smoke goes. Now, initially, there was concern that they were going to have to shut down the Parkway, but the smoke actually wound up going the opposite direction, so that did not become necessary. However, the entrance ramp to the inbound Parkway is closed. Traffic is still rolling on the Parkway. In fact, if we take the PennDOT camera out at Squirrel Hill, you can get a perspective. You see the fire is over to the left. There's a little bit of smoke drifting over the driving lanes of the Parkway, but the traffic is still moving in both directions, albeit albeit a little bit slower than normal, and especially on the inbound side, it is backing it back through the Squirrel Hill tunnel. And I just want to give you an idea also of the impact that it's having in the Squirrel Hill area. This is Murray Avenue that comes down. Everything is closed off. The Get-Go's right there on the corner. There's a Starbucks there. That is where traffic is closed off because of all the fire apparatus. So this whole area is, in essence, inaccessible at the moment. Now, in the midst of all this, we had another accident, and this was on the outbound parkway right around Saline Street, and it backed traffic back up into town. Now, fortunately, they've gotten those vehicles off to the right-hand side, and within the last few minutes, they've got them clear, but you are looking at the residual backup from that. But just know that right now, just stay away from the Squirrel Hill area. You cannot get off of the parkway and go into Squirrel Hill there at Forward Avenue. In fact, what you'd have to do is you can exit, but you'd have to take Beechwood Boulevard and loop around to the backside of Squirrel Hill in order to get into that area.
All right, John, thanks so much. We want to take another live look right now from our tower cam or from the scene here of that situation. You can see just how much smoke is billowing up into the air right now. If you are just joining us, this is a 4-alarm apartment building fire. This is on Forward Avenue in Squirrel Hill. We do know that all of the people who were inside of that building are accounted for and are okay. No injuries reported just thus far. We know at least 30 people around were brought from that building. Firefighters went into that building around 8 a.m. and started getting people out of their apartments. Again, no injuries reported at this point. Everyone who was inside accounted for. And witnesses say that a portion of the roof actually collapsed. And while we were live on air, our Ross Godotti was talking to someone who lives there. Another portion of that building seem to have collapsed as well. We are going to continue covering this story from every angle for you. We will have the very latest on the KDKA-TV news at noon. But for now, we want to send you back to regular programming. You can also find updates at KDKA.com.